Hey Jim, how you doing, man? Can you hear me? Hey. Okay. How was your weekend? You emailed me to say you got your studio soundproofed and your new computer running. Sure. How you doing, Bob? You most certainly, Jim, you can. Almost didn't make today's lesson. I just got in. I had some tests to do at the hospital for my hand. And we're back to square one. He's telling me what's wrong with my hand because I told him. Ha! Go figure. Okay, we're going to work with the stick control book formulas, or we can work with syncopation. Good for you, Jimmy. Okay, so anyway, I wanted the room to populate a little bit more so we can start the lesson. But anyway, I've been working on an additional book, Syncopation Formulas. Now, I got a couple pages, well, a couple, it's a lot of pages. The first section, I believe maybe I told you already, each page has 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 measures, okay. 6 lines, 12 measures. You have the left side and the right side. The left side is, I posted something in 4/4. Now next to that measure, I'm writing it out in cut time. So you're going to have 6 times 2 is 12 times 20 is 240 measures of straight time and cut time. Okay? And been working on quite a few other things. It's going to be quite a while before that book is complete. And I'm dealing with a lot of assholes on Facebook. I've been advertising on Facebook. And what happens, I get in my chat, is the book available? And what's it about? So I explained, the availability, the pricing, and what it's about. You know the response I get? What the hell do I want to do with stick control book? Huh. Okay, fine. Okay. Anyway, what formula we leave off at? Well, I think it was number 6 or 5. I'd like to do a little bit of a review. You have any questions on anything? Any questions on formula number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Because then we could hit 6. Oh, good map. Guys, talk to me. Which one you want to work with? Gentlemen, I know there's a delay. I don't want to go like to the next one, to the next one. No questions. All right, Robert. How about you, Jim? Hey, Horst, how are you, sir? We did formula number 1, number 2, 3, 4. We should be on 5 or 6. Well, you could do them with the brushes, Jim. Whatever, however you do them. You do them with your hands, your fingers. It's a mental state. A lot of guys, there's not a controversy, but we have a drum pad and we have a drum set. And some guys are not fortunate enough They live in an apartment, they can't soundproof it, and there's only a certain amount of hours they can play when nobody's home. You know, if you own your own home, you can soundproof a room and play to your heart's content. Brushes are okay, but I would rather use sticks a lot more. It seems that working with brushes today is almost a forgotten art, and it's a beautiful thing. Depends on the sounds you want to get. So tell me, what formulas you want to work with today? Hoist, Jim, Robert? Okay, let me see. I've been having some strange issues here with this computer. Anyway, if we have scheduled a lesson and I'm not on, come back in 10 minutes because I don't know what the problem is. It's got to restart all the time. Okay, I don't see any response. Number 5, okay, good. Number 5. Okay, the formulas, as you started to see, what they are is I reference off the sticking patterns, and I made R become something and L become something. So number 5, the R becomes the second and third note of the triplet with the bass drum, 1 and da. The left becomes the second and third note of the triplet with the left hand on the snare. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there's 72 different lines, all different sequences. Okay, so we have number 5. And we're going to play that against the jazz time. Let's do line 1. The sequence is right, left, right, left, right, left. Now, Hoist, you find that a little bit easier if you visualizing it? Bob, you understand what I just did? I'll break it down slower. If I can. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Any questions on that? I'll go to say the third line. You understand it? Okay. It's a nice pattern. You know, we're not looking for how fast. We're up tempo a little bit. All right, let's go to line 3 now. Line 3, that's 2 rights, 2 lefts. So the bass drum part and the snare drum part only. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got that? Against the jazz time now, line 3. And it's important, that free stroke, down, a free stroke, down, ding, change, ding. Number 3. Okay, let's go over to, now remember I said number 5, there was a mistake. On the first measure of number 5, the last beat, 4 and I have a the left hand part should be eradicated. So we do line 5, nice and slow. It's the paradiddle sticking. Is anybody having problems with maintaining that ride cymbal pattern like that? Free stroke down, a free stroke down. Anybody having problems with that? If I were you, once you get past the first 5, 6 lines, everything else is a piece of cake. 1. I'd say it on, for example, line 5 for about 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, it takes time. If you're having issues with that, putting it all together, like I said in the past, use the quarter notes. It's all free strokes coming down. That's being technical. I'm not putting my body into it. I'm just using the technique. It's all coming down from one spot. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You keep doing it that way for a while. It's a combination problem. What do you mean by that? Well, if you do line 5, Jimmy, for a while, a coordination problem, no. If you do 1 over and over and over and over again, you know, at a slow tempo, like line 1. 1 and a quarter, I'm using the quarter notes. You do that for 3, 4 minutes, or line 13 is better. It's the rights and lefts. This will come in. If you're thinking free stroke, let's listen to the sound. Equal, 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 equal. Free stroke, down, a free stroke, down. There's no shortcut to that one. You know, it needs to be worked on and worked on and worked on. And if you just play that for 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes, get a timer. Should be happening for you. Okay? Anyone you want me to go over in particular with the formula number 5? You got to control your coordination. How do you do that? I've given you some exercises in the past, Jim. You know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember that combination? 4-way coordination or a linear concept. Do you remember that exercise? Yeah, well, that's the way it's got to. You got to work it, Jimmy, to come in. We're playing it straight ahead, not the open time. See, that's the objective. When you're doing it for a long period of time and you say it sneaks in, no, don't sneak in. You'll do it. Something fun. What would you like for fun? A joke? Hello, Joe. How are you? How about some rock batters, the workbook? We're working on the formula number 5. We're going to go to the formula number 6, which is just the fill-ins. Okay, good for you, Jim. All right, Joe, what do you suggest? We'll leave it up to Mr. Joe. waiting on you, Joe. Something fun. Okay, let's go to number 6. That's the triplet fill-ins. Yep, it comes from the stick control book. It's a formula. We're interpreting the line. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. We're eliminating the lefts rather. 1 and the 2 and the 3, the 4 and the 1 and the 2, 3, 4. But now we're going to do the substitution instead of the bass. Right hand, we're going to use the bass drum. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Rain song. What's the rain song? I don't know what the rain song is. I am trying to do a lesson here, Jim. Hi, Joe, rather. The triplet fills in line 1. We fill in the balance. Line 2. I don't know what the rain song is, Joe. All right, line 1. My bass drum's 1, 2, 3, 4. My my hi-hat's 2 and 4, and I'm filling in the triplet. A little faster. Okay, number 2, the right hand moves over to the da of the triplet. 1 and da, 2 and da, 3, 4, da, 1 and da, 2 and 3 and da, 4 and da. Substituting with the bass drum. 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 4 and da. With the triplet fills, I'm sorry. We're not playing it between the bass drum and. You got me crazy, Joe. I'm trying to think of something funny. The rain song. Never heard that. I probably heard it, but never, I don't know the title. All right, line 2 would be 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 1 and da, 2 and 3 and da, 4 and da, 1, da, 3 and da, 4 and da. So combination of line 1 and line 2, we can have a little fun with that instead of containing it just on a snare drum. Everybody understand what I just did? Moved it around? And I just lost my left stick. That's a pretty simple song. Oh, you got me crazy. That's a simple maneuver. I'll do line 3, then we're going to go to number 7. Do you all understand how I got that? Because I want to take it to the jazz pattern. That's what we'll be working on. That would be formula number 7, I believe. Everything is visible there, so you could see it. We go to number 7, and we're doing the fill-ins. So instead of playing it here, we understand that, gentlemen? I have a couple of my students, they know a lot about the computers, And there's a couple issues that I want to do. I want to get some play-alongs, and I want to play along and explain to you what I did through the play-alongs. However, I need to be very careful with YouTube because, man, YouTube is on it immediately. Copyright infringement. For example, if I took a tune like The Chicken or Caravan or something by Miles or John Coltrane, and put it through the system that you could hear it, and I'm using it, they'll put a copyright infringement on me, and they'll flag me from YouTube. So I need to be very careful with that. What's that nice you got it? Oh, Rain the Brushes. Well, Jimmy, you mentioned that before. Brushes, the stick control book. You could actually play what we're just doing right now with the brushes. The triplet fill-ins. Is that what you mean by rain? Simple. I gotta take this off. It's too muffled. Let me try it without this. Yeah, well, they are okay, Jim, but I gotta get somebody. I mean, I'm having all kinds of issues. You know, some of these websites that are providing live lessons, they have 6 or 7 people working when it's being broadcast. You know, they have this AV guy, the other guy was tuning in, the tuner or whatever, putting in work. I mean, it's, you know, I'm doing everything all by myself while I'm teaching, so it's not so easy. I am getting better at it, and it will, as the time goes on, it will have it full functional. Now, you mentioned the brushes. Standard jazz time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the first measure, the first one we were doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang, 2, 3. 2, 2, 3, 3. Next measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, by Led Zeppelin. Okay, I'll have to investigate that. You want me to write out the parts? I can't play the song on YouTube. All right, let me investigate. I'll write out some parts. You guys are getting bored with mechanics or what? Well, there's no, I mean, I'm holding the brush to the drum. You ever hear that stir the soup? Stir the basta bazul, the stoop. I'm hitting the snare just as if I were hitting with a stick. I'm playing eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Being 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, here's an exercise for you. I'm just playing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. But when this brush comes up here, I'm on 2, and I'm on 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, stir the soup. 1, 2, 3, 4. You understand that, Jim? Now what I'll do, I'll play a jazz time, and I'll take the first line of stick control book and play all the rights with the bass drum. And measure in between number 2. Line 3. Line 4, 1. Line 5. You see that? You understand what I just did? This is getting to be a nothing question. It just takes me off my agenda. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I had a long, long morning. They had to electrocute my hands or whatever, electrodes or whatever test that was. It wasn't too pleasant. Guys, think about it. Tonight on my site, give me a formula you'd like to work with, and the Rain Song by Led Zeppelin. I'll hang out with that, and we'll deal with it, okay? I'll explain it to you when I listen to it a little bit more. All I've been doing is listen to Coltrane. Yeah, it is a half moon. I come up to the top on 2. I bring it all the way back down to 4. So I have this. Let me do the left hand. I'm just using my brush this way. Notice every time I come to the top with the brush, it's on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. See that, Jim? One, 2, 3, 4. I get a quarter moon there. So I don't have time to go like this. I'll be going crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Line 3. You can have some fun with brushes. No problem. Okay, for tonight, 7 p.m. Guys, pick out a formula you really want to work on. Okay? And I'm going to investigate that song, Joe. And it's not arthritis. No arthritis, no carpal tunnel syndrome, no tendinitis. It was from a childhood injury with my left hand, so I don't know. They'll take care of it. They'll fix it. Okay, now listen. If you have problems tonight at 7 p.m. and something is screwy with this computer, I got to figure out what's going on. Every time I leave it alone for 10 minutes or so, or it's not active, it shuts down and says, I ran into an error and it has to restart. So guys, pick out something you want tonight. Any formula from 1 to 45. Okay? And we'll do, I don't know, I might Led Zeppelin if you want. We'll talk about it. What's it called? The Rain Dance? Let's see what we got. Hold on. Oh, for Christ's sakes. The Rain Song. All right, we'll work with that. How's that sound, guys, if I get a chance to listen to it? I need to say this. I really want to teach, but it seems as I start teaching, it all goes off. It goes all over the place. So I want to work with the subject and work with it. And then towards the end of the lesson, let's talk about things. How's that sound, guys? Yes, no? Okay, no questions? I just really need a nap. My God. All right, I'll see everybody 7 o'clock.